Hey there, my name is Cindy and welcome to Snacks and Stacks. If you're new around here, welcome, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about my July wrap-up. In my wrap-up, I like to mostly focus on the books that I really loved, so my 4 to 5 star books, but I will do a quick summary of what I've read. So I read 13 books and I somehow read more physically than in audio, which is very rare. So I read about 5 audiobooks. I think it was 6 actually, but 1 I started in audio and ended in my hardcover book that I had. So I think it counted it as a print, but and then 8 with my eyeballs, 2 on my Kindle, if that matters to anybody. And then I gave 1 2.5 star, 2 3 stars, 3 3.5 stars, 2 4 stars, 3 4.5 stars, and 2 5 stars. And I also DNF'd 2 books. So my DNFs were With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. This was a book club book, and I found out that I wasn't going to be able to make it to the book club meeting, and I was maybe 20 to 30% in the audiobook. I didn't enjoy my time. I was bored, so I DNF'd it. I don't normally read a lot of thrillers, and this would have been my first Riley Sager. So if anyone has a very good Riley Sager recommendation, I would definitely try it, because last month I had a couple of 4-star thrillers, but I think I was either all thrillered out or this just wasn't good. Like, I just didn't understand the point of the premise, which is where a bunch of people were told to come to this train, and the train was like nonstop driving and it was all terrible people. So there's that. And the other book I DNF'd is actually makes me so sad. I ended up unhauling the book at my local book club little anniversary party, because we were doing a book swap, and I think other people love this book, and that would be Circe by Madeline Miller. I DNF'd it because I couldn't get into it. I was listening to it. I would try opening up my book and reading it, and this is the second time I've picked it up and tried to read it, and I got, I think, almost halfway. I wasn't invested in Circe at all. I had a lot of other library holds come in, and I was a lot more interested in starting those than finishing Circe. So hopefully I'm not missing out on anything, but there are so many books in the world that I think it'll be fine. I also want to highlight 2 of the buddy reads that I was doing because they didn't end up being 4 stars. They were 3, 3.5. With Libraries and Lattes, Chelsea and I are reading the Cruel Prince Folk of the Air trilogy. So we ended up reading books 1 and 2 last month. It's fun. It's a fun time to read with a friend, especially because you can kind of talk about the characters and talk about some of the weird stuff. Like, how are we randomly in Target right now? That's weird. But it's a young adult fae fantasy. It's pretty popular. I'm not quite sure I get the popularity, but I wish I did, because there's a lot of cool like editions and merch around this book series. I think it's fine. I think it's a good time. I just don't think it's a great time. So, but I will say Holly Black is like the queen of getting me to want to read the next one, because the way these books end, I'm like, all right, Chelsea, you ready for the next one? Because it's like, I want to know what happens, but I'm not incredibly invested in any of the characters. I do like the main character enough to obviously keep going, but I'm also like, I'm mostly in it for the plot, which makes me not love a book as much, because I think I know I love a book more when I love the main characters more. Another buddy read I finished this month was Empire of Shadows with Cassie and Cassie's Reading Corner. We both felt the same, that it started out really good. The middle got weird and slow, and The ending was fine. I think I might be more interested in reading the second one than Cassie is, but yeah, I think a stronger editor was needed for that middle part. It got really slow and kind of weird. And both of us love fantasy, and so the fantastical elements was missing. I would say this is very low and soft magic, and I don't love a slow-paced adventure book, which is what happened in the middle. And I was a little sad about it. The beginning is great though. So I don't know. I'm wondering if maybe the second book will be better. And we're in Egypt, so I'm a sucker for that too. So let's go to the books that I loved. And I'm trying to think if I want to talk about shows and movies, but I think that'll be a separate video. Mostly because I don't have notes, and mostly because I feel unprepared. The first one being The Briar Club. This was an audiobook, and this is set in the 1950s in DC. We follow a boarding house for women. I think there are about 6 to 7 women in there. I keep forgetting to count before I start recording, but yeah, there's a big group of women. Each chapter is a woman's perspective and their kind of backstory. So the chapters are very long, but I think they are done really well that way because you can just focus on one character and then you'll focus on the next character, and there's other people in there, but you're really just, there's not a lot of jumping around, which I enjoy, especially in an audiobook. Because I like that I don't have to think, which girl was this again? So it worked really well for me. And this is kind of a genre bender. So it's a historical fiction mixed with a mystery plot. I wouldn't say it's a thriller. It's not that, it's mysterious. Mixed with a little bit of magical realism. We have a character in here who is sentient, that isn't normally. And yeah, so the structure of the book was quite unique, at least to me, and I loved all the perspectives. I loved learning about so many different women's issues and I was going to say perspectives again, but I think more of it is just the confines with which women were in. We explored a lot of things in the 1950s. The kind of Cold War brewing and the kind of like against communism, the racism that is in the America at that time. We talk about women's rights a bit, of course, and overall, I think it covered a wide range of issues in the 1950s, and also LGBT issues as well. So, there's so many great things about this book that I highly recommend it to people, especially those who like thinking, who like reading about women's history, American history, and like a very much less research time. I think we don't really read a lot of books in the 1950s for historical fiction, so it's great. And I would just say the one point that I wish was stronger was just women of color felt a little bit missing in this. I want to say there was 6 to 7 perspectives, and all of them were white women. We did have an immigrant woman, and we have women from other, styles of life and stuff. But I would have loved if one of the main characters was also just a woman of color passing as white, or had a friend that was a woman of color that was more prominent. So yeah, we have some people of color in the book, don't get me wrong. It just, I just felt like it was a missed opportunity. And my next 4-star book would be The Favorites. This was a buddy read as well with Robin from Lil Robin02 on Instagram. And we follow this childhood ice dancing partners, Kat and Heath, as they rise to a very messy fame as Kat and Heath strives for an Olympic gold. They are ice dancing partners. I think I said that already, but just in case I didn't. This is like a sports melodrama slash, I can't call this a romance book. I really can't. But there is a romance in this. I read that this is a Wuthering Heights retelling. I've never read that book, so I can't tell you how much of it is alike. But I will say the sports part seemed very accurate. I am not an ice dancer, but it seemed very accurate. I felt like I was on the ice. I felt the grueling practices and the amount of times that they were talking about it. I really thought, I was like, did I pick up a sports book? But then the drama. The drama is messy. It is messy. Everybody has issues. Everybody needs a therapist. And this whole experience was great as a buddy read because it reminds me of when my sister used to live here and I would walk by the room and she'd be watching her reality TV shows, which I don't put on. And I would just like, you would just see me in the doorway, just sink down and start watching with her because you just can't stop watching the car crash that is on the scene. So that's what this was. It was messy. It was so dramatic, so much drama, and like jaw-dropping all the time. Short chapters that made you keep wanting to keep reading. So yeah, it's a 4-star because everything in this book is stuff I hate and I should have hated this book, but it's a 4-star because I enjoyed my time. Nuts. I didn't even know who I was when I was reading this. I was like, why do I like this? I spoiled myself and I still kept reading and I still liked it and it still surprised me. What can I say? It was a messy time though. I was very much questioning why I ate that book up, but I did. And it's great buddy read and it's a great probably book club book because I could see very polarizing views on it, but everybody could probably just talk about all the things that are happening that's so messed up. And it also makes me really concerned for the sports world. Very concerned. We have 4.5 stars. We have Fullmetal Alchemist, Volume 4. It's great. I'm loving my time. I actually was rereading it, then I wanted to watch it, then my husband started watching it, so I'm way far ahead in the Brotherhood anime than I am in the books, but that's fine. I love this story. I will continue loving this story. I will continue watching and reading it and having a good time. I'm trying to go through all the manga I have for 2 reasons. One, to tick up my owned books read tally, and 2, because I should read the books that I own, especially this series, because I love it and it's a quick, easy read every time. Then I read The Apothecary Diaries, Volume 1. Yeah, so this is the light novel. I had someone ask me what a light novel was. It is basically a book that is from, like, usually Japan. They are called light novels because there are, I guess, more YA leaning. And there are usually some illustrations. This is right in the beginning, so I don't think it's a spoiler. Throughout the book, a lot of times they are more episodic, so you see how they have like a lot of chapters and a whole table of contents. Imagine each one of those being an episode in an anime, which is what this kind of becomes. A lot of times light novels start out as like published almost like stories in a magazine, so it's like serialized. And so a lot of times it can feel like instead of one thought, one plot, there's just a lot more arcs in them like a manga would have. So hopefully that explains it. But yeah, Elliot Brooks is doing a read along because she loves Apothecary Diaries as well. And on her side channel, I will link all the stuff down below. And I'm reading along. So I already had the first one. It was a gift from my brother-in-law. So I finished it, and I think this is perfect for those who like a more ancient China feel. She is a apothecary who gets kidnapped and sold to the Rear Palace. The Rear Palace is where emperors have all their consorts live. There are servants and eunuchs that live there as well. Mao Mao is our main character. She ends up being kind of like a detective of sorts, and she solves mysteries back there. It's awesome. It's a fun time. A lot of fun. This very much follows the anime. I don't know if I love this so much because I love the anime so much and can pretty much picture every episode. So yeah, I would say the translation, some parts are missing a beat. Like, there's definitely some things that are rewritten kind of strangely. My next 4.5 star was a advanced listening copy that I got of Brigands and Breadknives. I was so excited. I listened to it right away. This will be published in November, so between now and then I'll definitely remind you guys to pick it up. But yes, it was so much fun. We follow Fern from Bookshops and Bone Dust as she moves to Thune to be Viv's neighbor. However, Fern feels unfulfilled, and instead of going to talk to Viv about how she's been feeling, she gets drunk and wakes up in the wagon of a legendary hero and gets whisked off to an adventure to find herself. My personal comp titles, not marketing, but me, when I was reading this book, the stories that I thought of were similar would be A Psalm for the Wild Built, because we have a character who is looking for purpose, and Freerin, because we have a character who's exploring the fact that they live for a very long period of time and have been doing this for a long period of time, and kind of how to build relationships with other people again. And I think if you liked Bookshops and Bone Dust, you would really enjoy this one, especially if you like it more than Legends and Lattes, which is, I'm the other way around, because this is a cozy fantasy adventure book. It's cozy, but the stakes are quite high. We have a lot of adventuring going on. Basically, we're going to different towns and completing different things as Fern and her new group of friends is transporting a wanted person. I think that's a good way to call it. Kind of like a, I don't know. I can't think of the word. But you know when they have like a person that's out for bail and you got to find them? Like a bounty, that is a person. And this elf, the legendary hero elf, has this person, and they are trying to get it to the place they're trying to get it to. Bad explanation. Might never get another arc again. But yeah, so it was a lot of fun. The writing is descriptive. The fight scenes were actiony, but I could still follow them, which was great for me. And the characters are so much fun. As a person in her mid-30s, finding purpose is a very hard-hitting theme, and so I really enjoyed it. I thought the pacing was a little off in some places, which is why it's 4.5, but overall, great book. Loved it, loved my time. Can't wait to get my physical copy. Can't wait to also re-listen to all the other books in audio, because this is my first time listening to Travis Baldree as a narrator, and I can see why my brother loves him and loves the way he narrates, because it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Highly recommend. But yes, pre-order and enjoy. My 5-star books. Yay! Let's start with the first one. World of Wonders is a nature/memoir book. So it's a book of essays, and it is upside down. I would say this is for people who love nature and love learning little facts. The whole time I was reading this book, I would tell my husband, "Did you know? Did you know? Did you know there's a flower that smells like death and people line up at botanical gardens to smell it?" Yeah, I had the greatest time, and I loved how the author embedded like stories of her life with these wonderful creatures and plants, and it was done in such a beautifully written way. You can definitely tell that the author is a poet. There's definitely a lot of like lyricism in this book, but also not in a way that like goes over my head. I thought this was done really well. If you want to know anything about the author, she's an Indian Filipino American. She traveled a lot as a kid, moving from state to state. Her mother was a doctor. I can't quite remember what her father was, but she has very loving parents. And her life as a woman as well is talked about in here, and as a mom. And yeah, we get a lot of little bits and pieces about her, and just mixed in with so much cool information about nature. I loved it, and made me want to go outside more. And it made me go to a garden just to take pictures with this book. And yeah, I love books that make me want to do stuff. So I love this book. Can't say too much because it's a small book. It took me a while to read it because I just wanted to savor it, but it's a wonderful, wonderful little book. And my last 5-star book was Funny Story by Emily Henry. I listened to this on audio from the library, went out and bought the physical copy because I liked it so much. I love both the main characters individually and together. I thought that it was done really well. So Daphne's fiance decides to take a chance with his best friend instead, and so they break up. She finds herself moving in with Miles, which is the best friend's ex. So they both went through this stupid breakup. I hated it. But I mean, I hated it for her and for him. I can't even imagine. So they went through this breakup together and moved in, and at first Daphne is like counting down to leave. She has a big event at her job. She's a child librarian that she is putting together. So she's like, once this event is over, I'm going to find another job. I'm so ready to leave. And so she's like, that's her mindset. But Miles is kind of the mindset like, don't let someone run you out of town. Let me show you all the amazing things that we can do in Michigan. And like I said about the other book, where I said I love a book that makes me want to like go do stuff, this book makes me want to visit Michigan. I don't know if any of this